Hi parents and friends. I'm back with another video for you about word work and grammar and reading, all the things that we like to learn about, or at least I do. I'm going back to this book that our teachers are using as a study this year, Uncovering the Logic of English. Now, our word work goes through lots of the rules, and I did mention in another video that this book really outlines the rules of the English language very well, so that when you try to explain to a student why we spell words a certain way, we don't have to say, well, you just do it. I don't know, you just do. There's a reason. There are reasons why we do, because our language really does follow rules. So to talk about that a little bit more today, I'm talking about the jobs of E. So it seems like a simple little letter. We learn it really early on. We learn that it can say like egg, or elbow. When we say the short sound, our mouth goes wide. So that's a symbol that I often use with students. It also says E, as in the word he or be. All on its own, it can do that. And it works with other vowels and vowel teams, right? That E, E, A, O, E, I, E. Those are the ones that are coming to my head quickly. There are other jobs of E, though. Many of them, actually. E has so many jobs in the English language, but if we know that as a rule, it helps us with spelling and with reading as well. So let's start with the first one. So the first job of E is to help other vowels make a long sound. So for example, this way the word is pan, but when we add that E, often called a magic E, right, the word changes to pain. So the E's job is not to say its own sound, but to make the other vowel say a long sound. That's the job of E in this word. It's the most common job that students will be reading, actually, and seeing in their work. So that's job number one, to make the other vowel in the word say its name, say its long sound. Job number two, words in the English language cannot end in V or U. So to prevent that, E has another job. The job of E is to make sure that the word does not end in V or U. So here's one example. Another example for you would be live, mauve, which is a color, true, blue, argue, rescue. So all of those that have UE at the end, we might think of those as a vowel team, rescue. Sure, E is acting as a helper for that U, but it's also because in the English language, as a rule, words cannot end in V or U. Okay, moving on to another rule. And this rule is, or this job, rather not rule, but this job of E is to help C or G make its other sound, its soft sound. So in the word dance, the E is there not to make its own sound, but to make sure the C says S instead of K. So in dance is one example, force would be another, or in words like page, change, orange, avenge, because we have that rule because C and G can only make those sounds when there's an E or an I next to them. So that's one of the jobs of E, is to be the vowel that helps the C make that sound. The next job of E is to provide a vowel for the syllable. Now, in this word, table, te is an open syllable. It's one syllable. The word is table, two syllables. Syllable one, te, T-A. That's an open syllable. This ending part is a different syllable type called a consonant L. It's consonant L is the vowel type, or the syllable type. It means that there's a consonant LE pattern, and the E is to make sure there's a vowel in that syllable. Otherwise, it would just be two consonants, but every syllable has to have a vowel. So the E is holding the place of the vowel. It's the job of the E in that syllable, in that word. Another job of E, it has many, many jobs. I think I'm up to 5 right now, is to make sure that words don't look like plurals. So if a word is going to end with an S, but it's not a plural, because we know that we add S to make things plural, they add an E, or they did add an E in the English language to make sure that we knew that it was not the plural form. So house is one example, goose would be another, mouse would be another, purchase is another, because it's not making the A say its name and purchase, right? Another word would be tease, right? And if we were going to change the form of that verb to mean it's happening right now, we'd say he teases children. He teases people. So we'd add another S. The E has to be a placeholder there. So it would be T-E-A-S-E, tease, and then the other S can be added on to make it a verb, as change in verb tense, right? And in the last job that I'm going to talk about, there are other rules in this book, but for the most part, the ones that students will come across the most often are the ones that I'm explaining now. This one is to make the TH say its voiced sound. So here we have bath. The two words look very similar. Adding the E at the end is helping the TH say its voice sound for bathe. Bathe. It just makes it a distinguished sound and a distinguished word. Same with cloth and clothe, loath and loathe, breath, breathe. So TH can say like thumb, bath, or and may have a voice sound you feel in your voice box like bathe. So it changes, the E's changing the sound that TH makes. So jobs of E, many of them, and I'm covering just the ones that are the most common. Of course, there is a handful of words, 6, that are in my list right here, that there's an unseen reason that researchers can't really figure out why the E is there. Words like done, D-O-N-E, we're not sure. Come, C-O-M-E. So if come is one of them, some is another. We call those red words in Orton-Gillingham, and what that means is they're words you just have to know. They don't follow decodable rules of any kind. This has a rule. The rule is L-E, consonant L-E. This has a rule. I just told you what the rule was, right? To make sure that the TH says its sound. Some and come and done are words that students just have to know and memorize. How to spell, how to read. Giraffe is another one. Where, like where are you going, and were. So those words don't follow any of these other rules that I talked about, or jobs that E has. So the jobs of E: making the other vowels say its long sound in a magic E form, making sure that words don't end in V or U, making sure that C's and G's say their soft sound, or G, like page, making sure that there's a vowel in the syllable, as in consonant LE words. Table is one. I'll say some other ones just to get them in your head. Bicycle, freckle, puzzle. So it doesn't have to be a BLE. It could be a CLE. Waffle, FLE. Another job is to make sure that the word doesn't look like a plural form, and to make sure TH says its voiced sound. So those are the different jobs of E. It seems like one simple, why is it spelling so hard? You should just know. Well, this is why. Because in the English language, there's all of these jobs for one letter. And if students aren't taught, and if teachers don't learn what those jobs are, it makes it more difficult to learn how to read and spell our language. So hopefully that's helpful. We'll see you next time.